Good evening and welcome. Oh, there we go. Welcome to another reading of 1001 Nights. I love this music. Thank you to Mr. Kamyab Saderi who's composing this beautiful, beautiful music for us. All right, my name is Saman Giraud and I'll be your host this evening. We are reading, guess what? Another night of the original 1001 Nights. If you are tuning in for the first time, me and my colleague Joanna Godwin-Seidel started to read the 1001 Nights, the original translation by Sir Richard Burton, in March 2020, which was the first lockdown in Austria due to the pandemic. Yeah, sorry. I just got distracted because my cat is grooming herself quite loudly. So we did start the project last year in March during the first lockdown, and we've been going strong, reading every single night we need chapter. So tonight, enjoy the reading. Now when it was the 308th night, she said, "It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the Caliph Al-Maamun approved his speech and ordered him to come up from his low place to a high stead. Now when the second question came to him, he made a still more notable answer, and Al-Maamun ordered him to be preferred to a yet higher seat. And when the third question reached him, he made answer more justly and appropriately than on the two previous occasions. And Al-Maamun bade him come up and sit near himself. Presently the discussion ended when water was brought, and they washed their hands, after which food was set on and they ate. And the doctors arose and withdrew, but Al-Maamun forbade the stranger to depart with them, and calling him to himself, treated him with especial favour, and promised him honour and profit. Thereupon they made ready the séance of wassail. The fair-faced cup-companions came, and the pure wine went round amongst them, till the cup came to the stranger, who rose to his feet and spake thus. If the commander of the faithful permit me, I will say one word. Answered the Caliph, say what thou wilt. Quoth the man, verily the exalted intelligence, whose eminence Allah increase, knoweth that his slave was this day in the august assembly one of the unknown folk, and of the meanest of the company. And the commander of the faithful raised his rank and brought him near to himself, little as were the wit and wisdom he displayed, preferring him above the rest and advancing him to a station and a degree whereto his thought aspired not. But now he is minded to part him from that small portion of intellect which raised him high from his lowness, and made him great after his littleness. Heaven forfend and forbid that the commander of the faithful should envy his slave what little he hath of understanding and worth and renown. Now if his slave should drink wine, his reason would depart far from him, and ignorance draw near to him, and steal away his good breeding. So would he revert to that low and contemptible degree whence he sprang, and become ridiculous and despicable in the eyes of the folk. I hope, therefore, that the august intelligence of his power and bounty, and royal generosity and magnanimity, will not despoil his slave of this jewel. When the Caliph Al-Maamun heard his speech, he praised him and thanked him, and making him sit down again in his place, showed him high honour, and ordered him a present of 100,000 silver pieces. Moreover, he mounted him upon a horse, and gave him rich apparel, and in every assembly he was wont to exalt him, and show him favour over all the other doctors of law and religion, till he became the highest of them all in rank. And Allah is all-knowing. Men also tell a tale of Shar and Zumurrud. There lived once, in the days of yore and the good old times, long gone before, in the land of Khorasan, a merchant called Majd al-Din, who had great wealth and many slaves, and servants, white and black, young and old. But he had not been blessed with a child until he reached the age of 60, when Almighty Allah vouchsafed him a son, whom he named Shar. The boy grew up like the moon on the night of fullness, and when he came to man's estate and was endowed with all kinds of perfections, his father fell sick of a death malady, and calling his son to him, said, "O my son, the fated hour of my decease is at hand, and I desire to give thee my last injunctions." He asked, "And what are they, O my father?" And he answered, "O my son, I charge thee, be not over familiar with any, and eschew what leadeth to evil and mischief. Beware lest thou sit in company with the wicked, for he is like the blacksmith. If his fire burn thee not, his smoke shall bother thee." And how excellent is the saying of the poet, "In thy whole world there is not one whose friendship thou mayest count upon, nor plighted faith that will stand true when times go hard and hopes are few. Then live apart and dwell alone, nor make a prop of anyone. I've given a gift in that I've said, will stand thy friend in every stead." And what another saith, "Men are a hidden malady. Rely not on the sham in them, for perfidy and treachery thou'lt find if thou examine them." Excuse me. And yet a third saith, "Converse with man hath scanty weal except to while away the time in chat and prate. Then shun their intimacy, save it be to win thee law for better thine estate. And a fourth saith, if a sharp-witted wight ever tried mankind, I've eaten that which only tasted he. Their amity proved naught but wile and guile. Their faith, I found, was but hypocrisy. Quoth Ali, O my father, I have heard thee, and I will obey thee. What more shall I do? Quoth he, do good whenas thou art able. Be ever kind and courteous to man, and regard as riches every occasion of doing a good turn. For a design is not always easily carried out. And how well saith the poet, 'tis not at every time and tide unstable. We can do kindly acts and charitable. When thou art able, hasten thee to act, lest thine endeavour prove anon unable. Said Ali, I have heard thee, and I will obey thee. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day, and ceased to say her permitted say. Now when it was the 309th night, she said, it hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the youth replied, I have heard thee, and I will obey thee. What more? And his sire continued, be thou, O my son, mindful of Allah, so shall he be mindful of thee. Ward thy wealth and waste it not, for an thou do, thou wilt come to want the least of mankind. Know that the measure of a man's worth is according to that which his right hand hendeth. And how well saith the poet, when fails my wealth, no friend will deign befriend. And when it waxed, all men friendship show. How many a foe for wealth became my friend? Wealth lost, how many a friend became a foe? Asked Ali, what more? And Majd al-Din answered, O my son, take counsel of those who are older than thou, and hasten not to do thy heart's desire. Have compassion on those who are below thee, so shall those who are above thee have compassion on thee. And oppress none, lest Allah empower one who shall oppress thee. How well saith the poet, add other wit to thy wit, counsel craving, for man's true course hides not from minds of two. Man is a mirror which but shows his face, and by two mirrors he his back shall view. And as saith another, act on sure grounds, nor hurry fast, to gain the purpose that thou hast. And be thou kindly to all man, so kindly thou'lt be called again. For not a deed the hand can try, save neath the hand of God on high. Nor tyrant harsh work tyranny, uncrushed be tyrant harsh as he. And as saith yet another, tyrannize not, if thou hast the power to do so, for the tyrannical is in danger of revenges. Thine eyes will sleep while the oppressed, wakeful, will call down curses on thee, and God's eye sleepeth not. Beware of wine-bibbing, for drink is the root of all evil. It doeth away the reason, and bringeth to contempt whoso useth it. And how well saith the poet, by Allah, wine shall not disturb me, while my soul join body, nor while speech the words of me explain. No day will I be thralled to wineskin cooled by breeze, nor choose a friend save those who are of cups unfeigned. This then is my charge to thee, bear it before thine eyes, and Allah stand to thee in my stead. Then he swooned away and kept silent a while. And when he came to himself, he besought pardon of Allah and pronounced the profession of the faith, and was admitted to the mercy of the Almighty. So his son wept and lamented for him, and presently made proper preparation for his burial. Great and small walked in his funeral procession, and Quran readers recited holy writ about his bier. Nor did Ali Shah omit aught of what was due to the dead. Then they prayed over him and committed him to the dust, and wrote these 2 couplets upon his tomb. Thou wast created of dust and camest to life, and learnedst in eloquence to place thy trust. Anon to dust returning thou becamest, a corpse as though never taken from the dust. Now his son Ali Shah grieved for him with sore grief, and mourned him with the ceremonies usual among men of note. Nor did he cease to weep the loss of his father till his mother died also, not long afterwards, when he did with her as he had done with his sire. Then he sat in the shop, selling and buying, and consorting with none of Almighty Allah's creatures, in accordance with his father's injunction. This wise he continued to do for a year, at the end of which time there came in to him by craft certain whoresome fellows, and consorted with him, till he turned, after their example, to lewdness, and swerved from the way of righteousness, drinking wine in flowing bowls, and frequenting fair women night and day. For he said to himself, of a truth, my father amassed this wealth for me, and if I spend it not, to whom shall I leave it? By Allah, I will not do save as saith the poet. And through the whole of life thou gett'st and gainst for self. Say when shalt thou enjoy thy gains and gotten pelf? And Ali Shah ceased not to waste his wealth all whiles of the day and all watches of the night, till he had made away with the whole of his riches, and abode in pauper case and troubled at heart. So he sold his shop and lands and so forth, and after this he sold the clothes of his body, leaving himself but 1 suit. And as drunkenness quitted him, and thoughtfulness came to him, he fell into grief and sore care. One day, when he had sat from daybreak to mid-afternoon without breaking his fast, he said in his mind, I will go round to those on whom I spend my monies. Perchance one of them will feed me this day. So he went the round of them all. But as often as he knocked at any one's door of them, the man denied himself and hid from him, till his stomach ached with hunger. Then he betook himself to the bazaar of the merchants. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. Well, whoever tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Story will continue tomorrow with Joanna. Hi! I'm just about to wrap up, but you can rewatch the video in a few minutes. I'll be seeing you next week. I hope you enjoyed the story. And for those of you who just tuned in, I'm sorry, I'm just wrapping up. But again, you can rewatch it later. Wherever you are in the world, I hope it's warmer than it is in Vienna, because we have degrees that literally feel like minus 14 degrees Celsius. And I've got all heaters on, as you can tell by my clothes. And I wish you a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. Sending you much love from my humble home to yours. Thank you for the hearts. And as usual, remember to go inwards instead of outwards. See you next week.